Today's video is sponsored by Surfshark VPN. On my return to Baker Street, I discovered Holmes deep in thought. "I can make no sense of it, Watson," he proclaimed. "I have credible evidence placing Moriarty in a shop in Warsaw, in a picture house in Paris, and in a library in Bonn, all on the same day. Yet did we not see him stepping off a train at Paddington only this morning?" "Perhaps he is using a VPN," I ventured. "Victor Proudfoot Norris, the most notorious cow-tipper in Dorset?" asked Holmes. No, a virtual private network, such as Surfshark. It would enable him to pose online as residing in any of those countries and many more, all without leaving London. That way he could take advantage of region-specific pricing to get the best deals when shopping online, watch streaming services from other countries, and access content normally unavailable in Britain, all in complete privacy. "Then the game is as good as won," declared Holmes. "Such a service will surely bankrupt him." "Alas, no," I said. "For you see, Surfshark can be used on unlimited devices, and by visiting Surfshark and entering the code JAGO, he can get 83% off on a 2-year plan with 3 months extra free. You should consider getting it yourself. There's even a 30-day money-back guarantee." Holmes nodded. "Excellent suggestion, Watson. But when you write this adventure down, tell everyone that I came up with the idea." Hello all. So, as you may know, the stations on the London Underground have undergone quite a few changes of name over the years, for one reason or another, changing priorities, development in the local area that makes the old name irrelevant, changes of ownership, all sorts of reasons. I've already covered the Circle and Central lines, so today I thought I'd cover the District. I also thought I'd have a look at the Hammersmith and City line. Well, I say I thought I'd have a look at that. It's more the case that every station on that line is also on either the District or the Circle lines. I feel like a separate video would be wasting your time and mine. Mind you, we're already on YouTube, so it's not like we were going to discover the solution to world hunger or anything. So, here we go. Starting in the west, the first station to change its name is Gunnersbury. When Gunnersbury was originally opened in 1869, it was called Brentford Road. It became Gunnersbury in 1871, and this is one of those situations where the station predates the Underground, as it was built by the London and South Western Railway. The District Railway, direct ancestor of the District Line, didn't begin running services through here until 1877. Now we're going to need to head back west again. I'm afraid the western end of the District Line is pretty complicated, so there's going to be a lot of zipping back and forth. As I said in the Central Line video, Ealing Broadway was opened as Ealing in 1838. By 1875 there were more railways and stations in the area, so it was renamed to the more specific Ealing Broadway. Ealing Common opened in 1879. Back then it was still called Ealing Common, except the company changed their minds and called it Ealing Common and West Acton in 1886. Then they changed it back again in 1910. The next station along, Acton Town, started out as Mill Hill Park again in 1879. Like Ealing Common, it received its present name in 1910. Chiswick Park was opened as Acton Green, so yes, there was yet another station called Acton. This was one of those stations where they took a while to figure it out. In 1887 it was named Acton Green and Chiswick Park, before once again receiving its present name in 1910. Why they had all these renamings in 1910 I cannot say, but if I were to theorise, I'd point out that this was a time when the Underground network was really starting to come together. So perhaps it was decided to remove as much ambiguity as possible in one fell swoop, but that's just a guess, really. Ravenscourt Park opened in 1873, and at that time it was called Shaftesbury Road. There was no actual Ravenscourt Park, as in the park, until 1888, which is when the station gained its current name. West Kensington showed up in 1874 as North End Fulham. 3 years later it became West Kensington, which frankly I suspect was under pressure from local developers. Earl's Court opened in 1869, and while it's never been renamed per se, opinion differs on whether it should have an apostrophe or not. The place name is believed to come from the local area being owned by the Earls of Warwick, who were rich, as in the family name was rich, but also they had a lot of money. So basically, I think that means the name should be spelt with an apostrophe, but the real question is whether the name refers to one Earl or several, and therefore should the apostrophe come before or after the S. You know, I could have got a real job. From Earl's Court we're going back again, this time onto the Wimbledon branch. Putney Bridge began its life in 1880 as Putney Bridge and Fulham. In 1902 the Fulham part was dropped in favour of calling it Putney Bridge and Hurlingham. Then in 1932 it was reduced to just plain Putney Bridge. Fulham Broadway also opened in 1880 under the name Walham Green. Perhaps surprisingly, it didn't take its current name until 1952. That brings us back to Earl's Court, but I'm afraid we're going backwards just once more, to Kensington Olympia. This opened as Kensington in 1863. 5 years later, the arrival of more lines in the area prompted them to rename it Addison Road, and there is still a sign to that effect. In 1846 it took its current name. Now we're heading up in the direction of Edgware Road. High Street Kensington has had one not very radical change. From 1868 to 1880 it was Kensington High Street rather than High Street Kensington. I covered Bayswater to Edgware Road in my Circle Line video, so I'll cause a link to that to pop up in the corner there. Same deal with the section following Earl's Court from Gloucester Road to Tower Hill, actually. As a matter of fact, the main reason for that whole section of line being built in the first place was to form the southern part of the Circle Line. Now we come to Aldgate East, and it's here that the District Line joins the Hammersmith and City Line, at least as far as Barking. Everything east of here on the Hammersmith and City is also on the Circle Line, so once again I will refer you to that video. Aldgate East has never changed its name though, so moving on. Whitechapel was opened as Whitechapel in 1876. The district arrived in 1884, and for whatever reason they called their station Whitechapel Mile End until 1901. I presume the name change was in anticipation of Mile End Station opening, which took place in 1902. Bromley by Bow started as Bromley in 1858, and it carried this name for 109 more years, only gaining its full name in 1967. West Ham is another of those changed our minds kid stations. It was West Ham on opening in 1901, then West Ham Manor Road from 1924, then West Ham again from 1948. In 1932, Dagenham Heathway opened as just Heathway. I guess it was trying to be cool or something, like, you know, just call me Heathway, dude. Or something, I don't know how the kids talk. By 1949 it had matured enough to go with the present-day name. And the final stop, from a name change perspective at least, is Dagenham East, which in 1902 was opened as Dagenham, but in 1949 gained the East suffix. So, there you go, another exhausting trek through the long and complicated history of station names on the district. And the Hammersmith and City, I guess. Good evening. I do hope you enjoyed today's Districtly Confidential tale from the tube. If you did, then I would be grateful if you could let me know with a like, and if you'd like to see the rest of the series and other videos on the Underground and other such things, you may wish to subscribe. I don't so much call to action as gently suggest. Thanks as ever to the donors on Ko-fi and Patreon. You are the Fulham Broadway to my Walham Green. Thanks once again to Surfshark for sponsoring this video. Visit the link in the description below to take advantage of their generous offer. And I'll see you all again very soon for another tale from the tube.